As we think about, our what we call our path to clean, decarbonizing our operations, and think about what we need to do with the grid in order to help enable decarbonization, I think it's critically important for all of us that we're investing in the local communities. And at Exelon, we've made a real commitment. Part of our mission statement is, powering a cleaner and brighter future for our customers and communities. And for us, that's much more than just making sure the lights stay on and the natural gas flows, but it's really about how are we investing in those communities. So for example, we've got I think we have over 65 workforce development programs across our footprint. We've invested over $30 million the last 2 years in those programs. We and our partners who are involved in this program hired over 1,300 people since 2019. So again, that real commitment to the community. And in addition to that, we're also investing in diverse suppliers and our diverse supplier business, which again, so many of those are local businesses. But last year we spent over $2.9 billion with diverse businesses. We've done things to invest in the community. We've committed over $2.4 million to freshmen going to historically black colleges and universities and scholarships. Last year we created a $36 million racial capital equity fund. And when you think about businesses that struggle to get the capital, it's businesses that are owned and run by people of color. And again, an investment in there in local business to help raise the community to bring all of us along.
Yeah, I think Exelon really has been at the forefront of this. If you look at the number of programs, a couple of them that have been tracking around community solar and increased access to Wi-Fi, which I think are really important. ComEd is doing that right now. I mean, community solar is critical to reaching underserved areas, because when you think about distributed energy resources, most of the time it's around single family homes or someone with a roof, right? When you offer community solar programs like Exelon's doing, you're really reaching customers that live in apartment buildings that are able to subscribe to a community solar service and all financially benefit from it. So I think that's a key program. And another one is around the increased access to Wi-Fi, where ComEd is renting some of the poles to telecom providers so that they're able to reach a wider community. A lot of times those are underserved communities.
And I would just comment, ComEd has a program they call REACTS, where they're beginning to run, to your point, fiber out into communities that are, whether they're rural or urban areas where there's that digital divide and not that access. And right here in DC, Pepco here, a vending facility they have in the city covered some of those buildings with solar, and all that solar energy is going to the local underserved community to help reduce bills and also help clean up the environment. In the process here at our headquarters in Edison Place here in DC, installing as we speak, again, solar panels on the roof, again, to help provide, that clean, low-cost energy to the local community.
Yeah, I think it's been great. It's really been a model for other utilities to emulate as they're thinking through how they can reach a wider net of customers, especially underserved communities, with programs like this.
I think you bring up a good point too, that as we make this energy transition, it's incumbent on all of us in the industry to make sure that it's done in an equitable way. That's been a real focus for us. I know it's a real focus for our policymakers as well, that you bring up solar, on suburban homes where people, quote unquote, can afford it. Well, how are we making sure that the communities where people can't afford or don't have that ability, how are we helping bring them along? When we're bringing and stringing fiber to help create a smart grid, how are we being mindful of the fact that there's communities where there is not that access to the internet? And how do we use what we're doing to help make that a more equitable distribution?
I think the energy transition is as much about providing access to energy for equitable access for all people, all customers, as it is about decarbonization and the environmental impacts and so forth. So I think as utilities think through that, that's a core tenet in terms of how do I leverage the energy transition to really reach my customers, all my customers, in a way where I can provide an equal playing field, which in a lot of cases it's not the case right now.
And there's some unique ways we can do that you may not think about initially. So in Baltimore, BG&E, who serves there, is doing a program with Lyft to help provide 100 full electric, charging for 100 full electric ride-sharing vehicles. And you think about ride-sharing. The majority of ride shares actually originate or end in low to moderate income communities, right? So again, you think about lifting everyone up at the same time, helping deal with, you look at the American Lung Association, the studies they do, and who's most impacted by, urban air pollution, which often comes from transportation. It's the under-resourced, communities, and how do we help in 100 different ways or a bunch of different ways, those communities come along with the rest of us.
Yeah, I think it's a great way for the utility to really be much more integrated within the community, because the utility is no longer about providing electricity or power to customers. It's about really being a leader in the community to not just facilitate access to power, but to really look at ways of serving all its customers and being able to reach underserved communities in a way that very few other industries are able to.